Before we begin, I want to say that there are obviously going to be spoilers in this, so I'm warning you right now, if you do not want to hear spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine, click off this video. So, for some reason in this video, I called X23 X24. I know the difference, but I said it anyways, so yeah, every time you hear me say X24, I actually mean X23. So, hello and welcome to the second video in my Extemporaneous Judgement series on my channel, where I talk about things I want to talk about without going into a full video, so that means mostly unscripted, mostly unedited. I do have some notes here, but it's less than a page, and they're not really useful notes anyway, so I probably won't even look at them that much. So, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine like 2 days ago. It was not that long ago. And I liked it. It was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite movie ever, and I probably won't rewatch it that much, but I enjoyed my time with it. So I guess I'll just go ahead and start with the plot. Pretty meh all around. It didn't erase what happened in Logan, which made me really happy. So that was one of the things I was worried about before watching the movie. I was like, man, Logan had such a perfect ending. It was such a great send-off to the character and the actor behind him, Hugh Jackman. So it'd be a fucking shame if they just like undid all that or like pretended it didn't happen. But no, it happened. Deadpool goes and digs up Wolverine's skeleton. By the way, apparently Logan and Deadpool are in the same universe of movies. Which, okay, I guess that makes sense if you don't think about it. Wolverine's skeleton is there, and then of course they make fun of it because Deadpool, he takes skeleton, he kills a bunch of people with Wolverine's skeleton or Logan's skeleton. And I mean, I was expecting that to happen anyways, whether it erased Logan or not, but I was really happy Logan wasn't erased at all. One thing I was not happy with was that there was no mention of Russell, despite him being the single biggest part of Wade's story in Deadpool 2, but they had fucking Shatterstar. Granted, that was just a stupid cameo and he didn't have any voice lines, but still. Russell and Wade kind of had like a father-adopted son thing going on, or at least like an older brother or uncle type thing, and you would think that they would stay in contact at the very least. Like, it didn't really make sense to me. I'll get to this when I talk about characters, because it's more of a character thing, but Russell not being in the movie with the theme of the movie really did not sit well with me, because I was like, man, all they had to do is have Wade say, oh yeah, he's at school or something. You know, like, it's just a simple explanation. That's all you need. But the fact he's not mentioned at all was really confusing, because they literally end Deadpool 2 by walking away together. So yeah, they mentioned Cable. They didn't even need to mention him. You could just, you know, way Back to the Future, he was going to do that anyways. That would have made sense. Or they could have said Russell went Back to the Future with Cable. I don't know. But they didn't mention him at all, which was, again, really fucking weird. And one thing that kind of confused me a bit, or it didn't really confuse me, but it was something I was thinking about while watching the movie, specifically towards the end. So at the end of the movies, Wolverine just lives with Deadpool now. He just lives in Deadpool's universe. And because that's the whole point of the movie, Wolverine or Logan was the anchor point of Deadpool's universe, and because he died, the universe has only 1,000-something years left to live before the universe dies. And then the TVA guy, I don't remember his name. I'm just gonna call him Greg. Greg wants to do a mercy killing on it because he gets hard by killing shit. And so that's what he wants to do. He wants to end the universe, and Deadpool has to go and save his friends and family. And so was the universe Wolverine left? Was he the anchor point in that one? Is this so? They just doomed a completely separate universe. Like, you're not even going to like mention that, or like have the characters mention it or ask about it or something, anything? I mean, it probably wasn't, because Wolverine's not in the MCU or the main MCU universe. Okay, I think it's 616. I think that's what they call themselves. He's not in 616, so he couldn't be the anchor point in that one. But like, what if he was the anchor point in the universe they took it from? The universe they just doomed it? It's just gonna die like 1,000 years later, prematurely. But again, that's not really that's more of a nitpick, really. It's just something I was just thinking about in the movie. But yeah, the plot was pretty meh overall. But let's be real, this isn't the movie you're watching for the story. You ain't watching this movie for the story. You're watching it for Deadpool and Wolverine shenanigans. And that leads me to talking about the characters. So first, I'll talk about Wolverine and Deadpool. Obviously, they're really good in the movie. Wolverine and Deadpool had a really good dynamic going on. It was so entertaining. So I've mentioned this when I streamed the Deadpool game. I like Deadpool being a snarky asshole who breaks the fourth wall, but when he's by himself and that's all he does, I don't like it. It's not right. I cannot handle it. So in the game, I didn't really like the Deadpool in the Deadpool game because of that reason. But when he interacts with other characters, like he has a straight man to play off of. Cable, you know, in Deadpool 2 he had Cable. Deadpool 3 he has Wolverine. In the game he had Cable kinda, but Cable wasn't in that long. That's a problem. Anyways, it's really entertaining, and he's serious sometimes, which I like. He's not just constantly wisecracking, because you know you can't just have your characters constantly do that because it just get annoying after a while. So one of my favorite parts that illustrates this is Wolverine finds out Deadpool lied to him or made an educated wish, and Wolverine just rips into Deadpool, just rips into him. It's a good moment for both characters. It's Wolverine taking out his anger at himself and you know, Deadpool, because Deadpool did make him angry. And Deadpool gets a grilling that he needed because he was dragging him along without even like caring about how he felt. So yeah, but in that moment, what Deadpool does is, after Wolverine's done, Deadpool just sits quietly, doesn't say anything, and he just says, "I'm going to fight you now." Not like a joke tone. He just like seriously says, "I'm going to fight you now," and then they start fighting. And that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. I love that. It's such a great display of the characters, of how their dynamic goes. It was really good. And the movie had not a lot of stuff like that, but it was a decent amount. Wolverine wisecracked a lot in the movie too, but more so instead of in general, it was specifically at Deadpool's expense. Like at Deadpool's expense. Like in the movie, Deadpool got Johnny Storm killed, and Wolverine, he's talking to the other characters. Deadpool's like, "Johnny was like a brother to me," or something, blah blah. And then Wolverine, like, he's laughing because Deadpool's the one who got Johnny killed. And it was just, I like that. It was fun. But it also fit with Wolverine's character, just being a standoffish asshole. Wolverine had a pretty good arc in the movie. His arc was learning to get over his past and move on. Not really forgive himself, I don't think, but a big theme of the movie is friends and family are important, self-sacrifice, you know. Wolverine, he hates himself because he got the X-Men kill, or no, he hates himself because he wasn't there when the X-Men were all killed because he was drunk, and he was always standoffish towards them. That's why he wears the suit, which is a great reason. I love that. And I like Wolverine's arc, specifically when it looks like he's gonna go into his temptation to have Cassandra Nova. She says that she can make him feel better. She can erase all the trauma he has. And Wolverine, it looks like he's going to let her do it, but it's actually a trap. I like that. That was cool, because it shows that he's not going to betray his morals. I like that. And Deadpool's arc that's another theme of the movie, is that Wolverine and Deadpool become something greater than they were. They both sacrifice themselves, or try to sacrifice themselves, for their friends and family, or for Deadpool's friends and family, really. And you know, there's a scene where Deadpool interviews for the Avengers with, fuck is his name, Hoagie from the Iron Man movies. He's in Spider-Man. He's in No Way Home. I don't keep up with him. And the whole thing is he wants to be greater for himself, and then Hoagie's like, "No, you got to do it for them, not for you." And yeah, that's another theme of the movie, is that don't be selfish. Just be good for others, not just for yourself, you know. Which is it's a fine moral, or fine theme. One part about that really rubbed me the wrong way, though, is that they had Deadpool push away Vanessa and they broke up because Vanessa's like, you show me you care about someone more than yourself. It's like, what? What do you mean? The whole movie Deadpool 2. I know he like, He went back and saved Vanessa at the end, but he didn't just undo the entirety of Deadpool 2. So like, why? What the fuck do you mean? He spent the whole movie Deadpool 2 trying to save Russell from himself and Cable. Just like, what do you mean about that? And also in the first movie, how he saved you, but I don't know. And it just felt like a way. It's like, oh, they got to put him at his lowest point, so let's just have him break up, even though if it doesn't really make sense. It's like, okay, yeah, I know part of Deadpool's character in the comics and the movies that he hates himself, right? That's a big part of it. Well, it's not really that obvious in the movies, but in the comics, it's a big thing. And so they have him push away Vanessa, but still, that really rubbed me the wrong way. The only reason I could think that it was done is because there's a scene where Greg offers Deadpool to go to 616. And because, you know, he's not with Vanessa anymore, he's like, oh, I guess I'll go. And he was going to go until he learned he's going to get destroyed. And I don't know, I just feel like it's really lazy to have them break up like that. And then they get back together at the end anyway. So it's like, what was the fucking point? So, forgettable villains. Yeah, I already mentioned Greg, who I don't fucking remember the actual name of. He was there. He was in the movie. His actor did a good job, but I probably won't. If you ask me to name a bunch of MCU villains, he's definitely not going to be on the list. Even the guy from the first Deadpool movie, I remember more, and I don't even remember his name either. The guy who feels no pain with the axes. I remember him more than the Greg in Deadpool 3. And so the other main villain was Cassandra Nova, which was very surprising to see her in a movie. I thought she'd be stuck in the comics forever. And she was alright. Like, her powers are just stupidly overpowered. She could just instantly kill Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm really surprised they didn't do that, actually. Why didn't they have her blow up Deadpool and have him regrow from a cell? I know that happened in the comics with Wolverine, so why didn't they just do that? Instead, she just throws Deadpool and Wolverine around, but she's perfectly okay killing everyone else. It's fucking screams plot armor. These guys are basically invincible and immortal. They regenerate from single cells and shit. So what the fuck? Why does she like not do that? You could do something like that where she keeps killing them, they keep coming back. I don't know. You could do something creative with that. No. Wolverine, I guess, makes sense because she's trying to turn him to her side throughout the entire movie because he's the first Wolverine in the Void or whatever. But for Deadpool, why does she not just like make him blow up like she did Johnny Storm? Even if he can regenerate, you know, that's sure to buy you some time, right? Because in the second movie, we see Deadpool, he has to like wait for his legs to regrow. So that was really weird to me, why she just didn't do that. And also at the end of the movie, they like raid her base with the other heroes. And she just like smiles and walks away. It's like, what? Like, you could, why would you do that? I know she's like, oh, she's a bad guy, she's insane, blah, blah. But it would be more convenient for everybody if you just snapped your fingers and just killed everyone. Like, I don't understand why. So in the movie, she's just super incompetent. But then out of nowhere, after she suddenly wants to destroy the entire multiverse so that she can be the ruler in the only verse, which will be the Void. And okay, that's a way to increase the stakes, I guess. I mean, the stakes were already huge. I don't know why they needed to be increased, especially with you know, that. But yeah, she wasn't a bad villain. She was just really weird. And also how she dies was kind of funny, I think. Like, she is ignoring the thematic, so it's, oh, she's doing something selfish. She wants to be Queen of the Void, so she's being selfish, and so that's why she's at the machine. But Deadpool and Wolverine are being selfless and saving Deadpool's friends and the entire multiverse, and so she dies and they live. You know, that was all fun. But yeah, I really can't think of stuff to say about her. She's just didn't really have that big of a personality, I feel. Like, when you think of the best superhero comic book villains, who are the first thoughts that come to mind? Those Dark Knight Joker, Dark Knight Rises Bane, Sam Raimi, Doc Ock, Sam Raimi, all of them, really. you know, like there's some, what do they all have? They have big personalities, they have simple but believable goals that make sense for them. And by simple might be the wrong word to use. What I mean is the goals are easy to follow, right? For example, Octavius's goal in Spider-Man 2, what is it? He wants to recreate his machine. Why? Because his tentacles are controlling him to do so, because that's in their programming. See, it's simple, it's believable. She doesn't feel human, is what I'm trying to get at. She doesn't feel like a complex character. She feels like she's the villain, so she's big, mean, scary, evil, insane, and that's it. She doesn't feel like she has a real personality to her. Like, besides being, you know, the fucking cookie cutter copy paste, insane, sadistic, wants all the power, you know. Besides that, she doesn't feel like she has a real personality, and she's not really struggling with anything either. Like, they kind of hint at it with Charles Xavier stuff, how like she has maybe an inferiority complex because Charles Xavier strangled her in the womb and she got sent to the void, so she might feel like she's not good enough or something, but they don't go anywhere with it. Overall, yeah, she's just a pretty forgettable villain. She's not bad by any means of the word, but I would not say she's great, and she's almost certainly, within 5 years, no one's going to remember her, I feel like. I could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm missing something because I'm a fucking idiot. I will admit that straight up. But yeah. So the humor of the movie, I didn't laugh once, but I did enjoy myself. I've said this before and I'll say it again. When I watch movies and stuff, I usually don't laugh out loud, even if I find it funny. Like Tucker and Dale, that's one of my favorite comedies. That movie is hilarious. I really don't even laugh at that, but you know, I still say it's funny because it is. I still, you know, I get a smile on my face. I'm like, oh yeah, that's funny. I get that. And this movie did the same thing, not to the same extent, but there were a few times where I was like, ah, yeah, that's good, that's clever. And then there's some of the other humor that's just okay, man. Like when they call shit woke, they're like, I'm not going to be like, oh no, they said woke. No, they said it just so like you'd recognize the word. Like you see the word woke and then you clap your hands, be like, yeah, they said the word, they said the big word right now. And it's like, okay, man. And one of the least funny things about the movie, and the humor that was especially egregious to me, was the cameo jokes. They made a lot of jokes about cameos, how Marvel movies have a bunch of cameos. And then they do a fake cameo, you know, like they have a guy with the red and blue suit played by Chris Evans. They call him Captain America. Takes off his cloak. No, it's actually Johnny Storm, because get it? He played Chris Evans played Johnny Storm in one of the Fantastic Four movies. And you know, that was a good gag, I guess. I didn't hate that. And then they just fucking do it unironically. They have Blade, Elektra, Gambit, and X-24 in the movie. And they even give you the fucking pause moment. You know how in Marvel movies have the moment where like a character will walk down some stairs or something and it'll just stare for a few seconds and be like, that's me. They do that with X-24. They're like, there's actually 4 of us. Who? And then she walks down the stairs. And then like there's a little pause for silence, so you can clap your hands together and be like, yeah, it's X-24. And it's like, are you kidding me? You can't just fucking do this. What is this, The Boys? You're just gonna do what you're making fun of? Come on now. I mean, I love The Boys, but yeah, they're fucking making fun of spin-offs and they're doing a whole bunch of them. They're on like their 5th one now. Come on. And like, I might be making a bigger deal out of this than it is, but cameos should be like fun things in these, I feel. Not like crutches. They're crutches in these movies. Like, but there's no reason for all of them to be in the movie. The only thing they have in common, the 3 of them, not X-24, is that they're from movies that had like bad adaptations or movies that people didn't like. I haven't seen them. But I know that there was a Daredevil movie with Elektra in it, I'm pretty sure. There was an old Blade movie, and Gambit was in X-Men Origins, and he sucked in that movie, you know? So that's why they were in the movie, is so they could be like, hey guys, remember those shit movies? Remember those god-awful movies? Remember those movies that you didn't like? Well, here they are. Here's comic accurate costume. And while it's fun to see those, it gets a little tiring when you're making fun of shit like that, the movie, and then you just do it. like, I don't know, it might just be me, but I don't at the same time I don't hate it, because it is cool to finally see, like, clearly whoever added those characters to the movie, it might be Ryan Reynolds, I know he's a comics fan. They care, right? Like, there's a reason they chose those costumes specifically, right? There's a reason they chose those characters specifically. But it just does not... When I saw them, I wasn't like, yeah, it's Gambit, and he's finally in the comic accurate costume. I was like, are you kidding me with these characters? And I know it's an MCU movie, you know? People don't watch this shit for the plot or the characterization or the themes and whatever. But, like... So overall, what are my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine? Like I said, it was a fun movie, but it was a fan service movie is what I would call it. It's just like No Way Home. There's really not much substance to the movie. Like, you're there to see the cameo, you're there to see Deadpool and Wolverine, two of the most popular Marvel characters. You're there to see them interact. You're there to see them interact with other characters. Now they're in the MCU. Fuck. And you're there to just have a good time. And you know what? When I watched the movie, I might have had some nitpicks here and there, but I had a good time. I had a great time watching the movie, actually. It was a fun movie. To me, a good movie can be a fun movie. It could have a awful story, but if it's a fun movie, I'll still say it's a good movie. The Venom movies, Venom 2 specifically, that movie has awful plot. Dude, Carnage was terrible in that movie. But that movie is still so much fun to watch with Eddie and Venom and the symbiotes dynamics. So I'll still say it's a good movie because it's a fun movie. I got some enjoyment out of it. And I'll say the same about this movie. Well, obviously it'd be nice if the movie was like, let's say Spider-Man 2, where it's a good superhero movie and it's a good movie on its own, where, you know, there's themes, there's prominent themes, and the plot is actually a big part of the movie and not just something to have an excuse to have these characters interact with, you know. But again, it was a fun movie, so I'm not going to sit here and bitch too much about it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I know I kind of rambled on there. At the time of looking at this, it's 30-minute recording. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit this down a little bit because there's a lot of shit of me stuttering, messing up, or just like not remembering what I was talking about. So I'm gonna have to cut that out. But I mean, you know, if you've made it this far, you might be wondering, hey, where's your Portal 2 video? You posted on your community hub like 3 months ago that it was coming, and it hasn't come yet. What the fuck, dude? I'm gonna unsubscribe and cancel you. I haven't started on it yet, if I'm being honest. I got my bachelor's degree back in May, and I've been just taking it easy. I got diagnosed with depression. I've been taking ADHD medicine, and so I've just been taking it easy. But I will start on that video soon. I promise. I know I promise a lot. Like with the Broly, I'm not doing the other Broly movies. The first one got claimed, and I had to re-edit it. So sorry if you were excited. I had the script recorded and everything. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video. Maybe.